Hello, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Opinion or Opportunity. I am your host, Don Gringo. We have a little bit of an exciting episode today. Today, we're going to tackle, obviously, possible debate changes, what they mean to each candidate. We're going to talk about, obviously, the history of the debates a little to show that this whole interrupting thing has been going on for a very, very long time on both sides of the aisle, that this is nothing new. So these debate changes and who they benefit. We're going to talk about racism and both candidates. And, everyone's coming out and saying Trump isn't, obviously, putting down white supremacy. But, he has in the past, going back to even to a Matt Lauer interview from 2000 talking about the Reform Party. It's all caught on video. But we're going to get into it. That's what we have today. So let's get started. All right, so with everything going on, I want to say thank you so much. Our first month out, we did very, very well. I appreciate all the love and support. I would love for continued love and support so that we will keep doing this. Please subscribe or follow if you find this on YouTube or Facebook. If you are hearing this on my podcast, please like and share. Sharing is the most important thing here. Please share so we can grow the community and we can keep this moving forward. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start off with the debate changes, right? So everyone here, whether you're looking at the Blaze saying that the rules change will benefit Biden, and they will. There's no doubt about it. They will. Okay. And Biden made suggestions on how to use a mic and shutting off mics. And, obviously the debate was a crap show. There's no doubt about it. I don't think the needle moved on anyone's core one way or the other. I do think that, when it comes to independence, I think that it hurt. Both parties hurt on this situation. Trump was a bull in a china shop with the interrupting. And yes, that's what he does. But fact of the matter, like in previous podcasts, like I said, that Biden was the only one telling people to shut up and calling people clowns. So there is no good character on the debate stage that night. None on both sides. And if you're going to sit there and go one way or the other, you're wrong. These are people vying for the highest office in the nation, right? So they both need to get over themselves, act a little presidential. I've always said in the past, I'm not on the Trump train. I do lean conservative on a lot of issues, but there are a lot of issues I lean very liberal on. On this situation here, the only reason why I think I lean more conservative is because of the fact the mainstream media is so liberal that, in all honesty, Trump doesn't get a fair shake. And I believe that. Even though he's sometimes an ignorant fool, he just doesn't get a fair shake. And that's been since the beginning of his presidency and before. So let's really get into into this. So Democrats suggest rule change to hurt Trump at next debate. I absolutely believe this. The Blaze is reporting this as of yesterday, and of course the media floats Joe Biden skipping debates. Now here's the thing: debates have been part of this for a very long time, and if Joe opts out, I can't see that making him look good. There's no way Joe comes out of this looking good if he opts out of the debates, because he's been in politics for 47 years, debating for 47 years, and if he can't handle this, he doesn't belong in the office, and that's just a fact of life. Okay. And for anyone who sits there and thinks that, this is okay, Biden has done this in the past, but we're going to get into that in a second. So obviously, the RNC and the Trump campaign say they're going to oppose the changes, and rightfully so. I mean, listen, I think Trump needs to get himself under control. Even Chris Christie was on the news saying, hey, listen, one of his debate coaches that, we wanted him to come on strong, but that was way too strong. And it was. And I've said that right after the debate on my previous show and podcast that, he came out like a bull in the china shop and he wanted to prove his points, which is great, but let Joe hang himself because, he typically does. But the debate changes should be there to a degree, but they should not be overwhelming in anyone's favor. And I think that's part of the problem here is it's going to be in Biden's favor because that's who a lot of the mainstream media and whatnot is pushing, right? And if you think Trump is the only one doing this, here's a video with Ryan Child Biden for interrupting him on healthcare argument. This goes back to 2012, October 11th, so almost to the date 8 years ago. Ready? So here's Paul Ryan talking about Joe Biden and Joe Biden interrupting him.
Here's the problem. They got caught with their hands in the cookie jar, turning Medicare into a piggy bank for Obamacare. Their own actuary from the administration came to Congress and said 1 out of 6 hospitals and nursing homes are going to go out of business as a result of this.
It's not what they said.
7.4 million seniors are projected to lose the current Medicare Advantage coverage they have. That's a $3,200 benefit cut.
That didn't
What we're
happen.
saying,
More people signed
these are
up.
from your own actuaries.
More people signed up for Medicare Advantage after the change.
What they're saying,
nobody is.
Mr. Vice President,
down.
I know,
No, this
Mr.
is
Vice President, I know you're under a lot of duress to make up the lost ground. But I think people will be better served if we don't keep interrupting each other.
Well,
Let me
don't take all the 4 minutes then.
We're saying don't change benefits for people 55 and above. They already.
So Biden, even back then, was interrupting and obviously trying to insult people. So if you're going to sit there and take Biden's side on this, you're absolutely wrong. He was an ass during the debate as well, and he's been an ass for a very long time. But again, you're talking about a guy who's been in politics for 47 years, and he has no record to stand on. No, 47 years and we'll say no major record to stand on. The only major thing he has is a 1994 crime bill, which he's running from now. Okay, and that's just fact. So that's Biden 8 years ago, almost to the day 8 years ago, and he was just like Trump, just a calmer version of Trump, interrupting, but also making chides and kind of calling people on and calling people out, and he's doing the same stuff, but Trump's doing it better. And I think that's the problem here. He's just too old. This ain't 8 years ago. He's older. He doesn't have what it takes to do what he used to be able to do, and nor does it look good for him anymore. So changing the debate rules isn't quite fair. If you can't play the game like you used to, just get out of the game, knowing it's your time. But obviously no one wants that to happen, right? So with that being said, let's get into, what happened after debate. Now, this is another reason why they want the debate changed. 66% of Spanish-speaking Americans in Telemundo Twitter poll think Trump just won the debate. That's huge. Let's face it, the Democratic Party has been moving away from the African American community for a much bigger community, which is the Latin Spanish-speaking Americans. I mean, that's the truth of it. They always have pandered to the bigger crowd. And right now, with the African American vote going up and up in the Republican favor, they've been hitting the Latin American community pretty hard. But he failed miserably in that poll, and that's Telemundo. I mean, that's Spanish TV right there. So I think the problem here is, when we're looking at this, and there's some opportunities, I think there should be some rule changes, but there needs to be equitable and fair rule changes on this. And I don't think changing the game halfway through or partially through the debates, right? Because, we have a debate tomorrow with the VPs and potential VP. I just don't think it's fair. I think this should be for the next election. We kind of got to make do with what we have, because we're going to benefit more one than the other. So it's got to stop somewhere. We got to stop doing things. I know Trump needs to get under control. Biden needs to get under control. They both need to act more presidential. And I get it. But, one of the problems I do have here is prior to the debate, a couple of things that was asked for was Joe Biden to take a drug test, and of course, no electronic devices they wanted to search. Well, there is a hashtag going around called hashtag Joe Wired, right? And I saw it, and a lot of people have seen it. And basically, Joe Biden is wearing a wire. Now, a lot of people are calling it out saying, no, it's a wrinkle in the shirt. No. We watch him on video. If you go hashtag Joe Wired, you were going to see it, right? Watch. You'll see it. And he's actually fixing the wire underneath his coat, and then there it goes. It pops out. And none of the media is hitting on this. None of it. Now, it's not right and it's not fair. So if you want to add electronic devices and have their teams talking in their ear and keeping them under control, you've got to offer that up to both parties. You've got to make that a legitimate change. And I don't care if you're going to do it, just do it in a fair and, equal manner. But we both know that's not going to happen. We both know it's not going to happen. And not just the wire, but you can see in his cuff over here, this isn't a cuff link. This is his cuff over here. This is where the cuff link would be. And here is a device sticking out. This again is, it's just sad that this is what politics has come down to. This is what we're facing. This is what the American people have to deal with. This is what you're voting for. Now, there should be debate changes. Joe wanted, 2 breaks on the half-hour marks. You know what? Fine. You want breaks? Get breaks. But you both should be drug tested, and you both should be searched for electronic devices. And if you can't get on that stage and you can't hold your own, that's on you. You're vying for the most powerful office in politics in the world. And there should be some checks and balances there. So this is a bad look for Joe. I mean, once it does come out, and I'm sure they'll be pushing it prior to the next debate, this hashtag Joe Wired, and I do recommend you look at it, make your own opinions of it. But in my opinion, this is obviously Joe being wired. This is Joe having help. This is Joe whatever. And you know what? At the end of the day, it's just not right. It's just not right. A little bit more to the debate is funny. CNN politics. I was saying in previous podcasts how I think CNN had gotten better, but I don't know. Here's an article here from yesterday, the 30th. Trump has no answers on American crisis. His debate rage made it worse. I got to call CNN out on this. You guys were getting better, but now you're just going back to being sloppy. And someplace, I think, people like me who are centrists and independents who can flip-flop on issues either way, you're just absolutely wrong. What I got from this was, Trump didn't win because he went out there and was better. I mean, he was a bull in the china shop. He did give more facts and more numbers. But Biden, in my mind, not coming out and saying, this is my pick after almost 2 years of saying, I'm going to have a list of 7 African-American women for the Supreme Court, should I have an opportunity to fill a seat, and not come out and give somebody. This was the perfect opportunity with Amy Coney Barrett currently going through the process. This would have been a perfect opportunity for him to ignite his base. And he didn't. Okay, and then he's flip-flopping on the Green New Deal. It's the Green New Deal, but his version of the Green New Deal. I don't support the Green New Deal, but it's my version of the Green New Deal. You need to stand somewhere, man. People still don't understand you, and it's your fault, Joe. That's the bottom line. Not coming out and coming against the violence, he did it, but he did it on September 1st. I did a whole thing on this. I know exactly when he did it. Okay, and Antifa is an idea, and it's not an idea. BLM and Antifa are not an idea, and this is just another thing. So Trump is wrong. There's no doubt about it. Trump is wrong. But this thing of Trump has no answer for American crisis. No, said Trump has no answer for healthcare. There is no answer coming from the Trump campaign for healthcare. He said he was going to repeal and replace, and he has no replacement. And I get it. And there's a lot of things. But the man is a man of action. Joe has been, like Trump called him out, 47 years to his 47 months. And unfortunately, Trump has done more, but he's a man of action. And even in 8 years as VP, Trump has still done more in 47 months than he had, right, in 8 years. So it's a little hard to do this. Trump should have been better. He had a bigger record. He should have walked out there like, man, you've done nothing in 47 years. I've done more in 47 months. Here's my record. Argue it all you want, but you had all this time and you did nothing. And he should have just been out there and just put it out there, and he should have rode that. But this is absolutely asinine. I don't know where. CNN is starting to go backwards all over again. And of course, CBS News, Trump faces criticism for refusing to condemn white supremacists. There's a video out there if you go on YouTube. Matt Lauer interview back in 2000 where Trump and him were sitting down for an interview discussing the Reform Party and David Duke joining the Reform Party. And he said it was an absolute horrible idea. He wouldn't support it, blah, blah, blah. This is 2000. This is, obviously 16 years before he ran for presidency. Now, the guy is as ignorant as they come, and I get it. And he's a narcissist, and I get it. But I think the guy's getting tired of answering the same question. And at some point, he's human and he doesn't portray to be a politician, which I think was his appeal to a lot of people. And I get that. You didn't want to elect a politician. You wanted someone who was going to be better. Gotcha. But at the same time, if you're going to step into politics, you better learn the game. You better polish up. And I think that did bite him in the ass. But the problem I have here is you can go and just Google Kamala Harris calls Biden a racist, and there's tons of video out there. And it's not so much she's calling him a racist as so much as she's saying, and basically she is, because he praises racists and separationists in the party. I mean, and she calls him out on it. So the problem I have with the Biden camp is you have a VP endorsed by Obama, and you have Obama's former VP on the same ticket, and one of them calls the other one a racist. And here we are, right? But the other part of that, and this is what baffles me about the mainstream media, is we're not jumping on this, right? Is that Trump is right. For the most part, Trump is right. Biden came out during his 1994 crime bill, during that period when he was putting it all together and doing stuff, and he called African Americans super predators. Now, of course, everyone claims a little different, but in this case right here, this article will prove that, you know, hey, listen, this is September 29th, by the way, of this year, that Trump's claim that Biden used the term is mostly true. Biden did refer to the problem of predators when violent crime statistics had been rising for decades. But he was referring to the Afro-American community. I mean, that's what it is. It was during the crack epidemic, right? That's what it was. And his big bill that he's running from now, where everyone knows he put more African Americans away than anybody else. That's it. So I understand where everyone's coming with Trump. I expect everyone to judge their own way. But if you want the vote, you should be fair and impartial and let the people decide, not sway. And I think that's the problem we're having with the media today, is this is what we're getting. We're getting what you want us to hear versus the facts of what should be there. And then people should vote their conscience. And I think that's one of I think that's probably our biggest dilemma as the media today, but it is what it is. So again, thank you so much. I will be trying to get another one out tomorrow before the debate, and obviously after the debate. But I appreciate the love and support. Again, please share, make comments, subscribe, follow. If you're listening to the podcast, please follow along and please share. If you're seeing this on Facebook, again, share. Let's get the community bigger. And I appreciate all the love and support and attention I have gotten in my first month out. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you next time.